dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. There we go, we are live, and have I got my mic on and stuff? Mic is on, it is not down. Hey Sandy, what do you think to the new layout of my hotbar? Down at the bottom, look. I've still not figured out all the kinks of it, but I think it's looking pretty good if you ask me. Well, Logic's wanted to design a hotbar that had the map in the middle, and I said I'd figure something out. Because obviously he wanted it for both of us. Because I design Logic's hotbars. He has basically the same hotbars as me, and we wanted abilities, the role ones for instance, to be in the same place across all jobs, so I've kind of had to design with that in mind as well. So you have your main melee combo here, your AoEs here, defensives here, healy stuff here, important abilities there, throw, your tanky stuff, and then your stuns. Right, we have two of these to do. The situation has worsened since last we spoke. Right, give me a second actually. Sorry about that. My throat's been giving me shit because I've been talking a lot. Wait a second. The situation has worsened since last we spoke. Glipnir grows bolder in his attacks, and the Conjurers are spread thin in their efforts to attend the victims. Moreover, we are no closer to finding a means to counteract the blasphemy poison. We have no choice but to wait until death claims them. Some are overwhelmed by hopelessness, becoming mad beasts that lash out at their former countrymen. Such tragedies are all too easy to forget. Further tragedy, as bereaved loved ones are in turn overcome and share the same horrid fate. Oh God, I need a tissue. The people speak of the incidents here in hushed whispers, afraid that any moment a monster might appear within their midst. We must slay Glipnir without further delay. Indeed, let's hope that the Elder Seed's efforts to enlist the aid of elementals are successful, and that united we may at last cleanse the Trollswood of this evil once and for all. If you're wondering why this is so off-center, by the way, it's because when I have my chat bar up it messes with everything. Urgent news, Shulk. Glipnir has ambushed a party of wood whalers. They are engaged with the blasphemy near Guardian Tree where the Great One slumbers. This bodes ill. Has it divined the Elder Seer's intent? Is it intended to prevent her from communing with the elements? Bah, in any event, we cannot let Glipnir harm the tree. The Elder Seer bade us rendezvous with her at Sorrel Haven. We leave at once. I'll show you what I mean about the chat thingy. As you can see, there's always space, so I could move and center it. But I have my chat bar like that. So when that's all up, it's off skew. And nobody in the SC is activated. Oh no, we are active. I've just been a moron right here. Need to remember to sort that out at some point. What do you think of Shulk's appearance, Slandy? She looks like an ancient with an axe. Punch, punch, punch! It don't matter what my eye is here. For me. Battered arms and armour strewn across the ground, but there was no other trace of man or blasphemy. Well, I messed up already. I really need to get a debuff. Ah yes, I forgot. What button did I just press? Trying to get used to these new action bars that I've done. I see, I think I know what happened here, though I pray that I am wrong. There is no sign of the wood whalers save their arms and armour. Seasoned warriors would never cast aside their equipment, but here it lies, and I see not a single body. In the fate of certain death, even the bravest among us can succumb to despair. Before the blasphemy's poison took them, they transformed. Glipnir could not have gone far. He may be watching us even now. Be on your guard, the air is thick with corruption. If a wood whaler succumb to a man, then we can expect a hard fight. Though I dread the thought of hurting our brave soldiers, we cannot allow the creature they have become to roam free. Let us form two groups to more quickly track down and kill the beasts. Once we have finished, we shall regroup under the boughs of the guardian tree. At least with, for God's sake, with my map being where it is, I can have my face up here now. I really need a debuff so that I can see where they go here. Because as you can see, my buffs are now here, and my like unimportant ones go here now. As I say, it's going to take some getting used to these. You have laid to rest the last of the turned whalers. Reunite with your companions at Evershade. Our work is done then. The loss of so many brave souls is tragic, but now they are at peace, and the guardian tree is safe. Let us take comfort in that. I but pray that the Great One will hear my plea. I pray that we actually get to see Calypno at last. Ah. Elder Seedseer, are you hurt? The Great One is filled with fear, an all-consuming fear unlike any I have ever felt. It spoke unto me, and its words were clarion. Drive the evil away. Drive the evil away. I can think of naught else, and so we will not receive the aid we seek, not until we dispel the dread and claws at the forest's very heart. No, this was our last hope. Just let me fight the thing. We are not alone. This music that's playing right now is really good. There can be no mistake, this is the profane beast, the blasphemy that has mired the Twelveswood in despair, Glipnir. Stay back. It mates for the guardian tree, we must stop it. For poison, you mustn't let it touch you. Such fearsome strength. Let me beastie. In accordance with our covenant, we Pajal have been blessed by the elementals. From the moment we are chosen, we are bound to act as mediators between man and nature. The most skilled among us are honoured as seed seers, and it is their duty to guide Gridania through times both poor and prosperous. I cannot say which of you will be far more worthy. In my estimation, you both have the potential to become seed seers. Of that, I become more certain by the day. But I don't want to be a seed seer. I never want to be Pajal either. I never asked for any of this. Why can't I live a normal life like everyone else? How come I don't get to grow old? Why am I cursed with these ugly horns? I like them, and maybe we didn't choose to be born this way, but I don't think it makes us that different from everyone else. It's a rare gift, a blessing even, and if we can't use it to help others, then we should. And if we can use it to help others, then we should. Don't give up on becoming a seed seer, can he? We'd all be worse for it. Oh my god, it's you and Canny. A blessing? I never thought of it that way. I suppose I just hated not having a choice, but maybe you're right. So is this... whoever this dude is grown up, is that who he is? Well, well, well. Can he? Whether I can see my TV and my glasses through my on the camera, I mean. Slow start to the day, Slandy. Slow start to the day. The matron is merciful. The elder Seedseer has fallen unconscious, but is otherwise unharmed. The blasphemer must not have touched her, for I do not see the telltale mark of poison. Still, I am no healer, and she should be looked after by those who are. I shall carry her back to Gridania. We must leave before Glipner returns. Await me at Ada's Nest. Still don't like that we're calling them blasphemies. They're terminuses. Or termini, depending on what the correct nomenclature is. Nomenclature, should I say. Allow me to thank you again for your assistance. The elder Seedseer has been delivered into the care of Izumi-san, and by the grace of the elements will she make a full recovery. In fact, she has already regained consciousness, but is not yet allowed to receive visitors, but we can but wait for now. God damn it, I was useless. I could do nothing while the elder Seedseer faced Glipnir alone. I was to be her shield, but I stand before you while she lies abed is proof of my failure. Can he live still when she requires your protection? You truly are the hero of whom the bards sing, aren't you? You've suffered terrible trials, yet you still stand tall and resolute. That's up for you, Slandy. Thank you for your counsel. How close I came to forgetting the lessons of my past. I've spoken of it to few, truth be told. It brings me to shame to recall it. I fought at Cartanu, not as a soldier of the Eorzean Alliance, but as a conscript in the Garlean Imperial Army. Clad in armour and magitech, another drop in a sea of pitless metal. You grow numb to the violence and killing out of necessity. It becomes routine work to earn your next meal. But then the moon shattered and the dragon emerged, and when the dust had settled, I was another body clinging to life amongst the fallen. I remember staring at the burning sun above, growing weaker, wondering if the heat of an Eorzean blade would finish the job. But it wasn't death that came, but salvation. I was delivered from my well-earned fate by the elder Seedseer. She deigned to save a man who once bade steel against her. Her kindness didn't end there. Once my wounds had healed, she welcomed me with open arms. Never did she regard me with distrust, nor did she ever make me feel obliged to repay my debt. She thought not to take a life, but to safeguard it. Through our friendship, I came to see the wisdom in that distinction, and pledged my remaining years to her service. 'Twould have accomplished nothing to throw myself against Glipner in vain, and even if there was profit to be found in the sacrifice, she would not abide it. Your words serve to remind me of this. We will defeat the blasphemy, aye, but we will do so without forsaking that which we hold dear. This I swear. You know what? I'm gonna do it. Shulk, the elder Seedseer, has grown strong enough to receive visitors. Come, we must go to Stillglade Fane at once. Amazes me all the people who are just stood around AFK in here. And then you sit in a 5,000 person queue and it's like, yeah, great. Bloody hell, I get paranoid to leave it AFK for like a minute. Elder Seed said, it fills my heart with joy to see you in better health. I am gladdened by your presence as well, my friend. Unless you wonder, know that the Conjurers found no trace of the poison in my humours. If you are ready, I would resume our search for Glitnir. They may be up to the task, but you are not. It is one thing to engage in conversation, quite another to go gallivanting about Trollswood hunting a blasphemy. I am aware of you are a conjurer of surpassing skill, and would not presume to gainsay your judgment, but have my wounds not healed. Rays visible to the naked eye, perhaps, I worry that the strain of your communion with the Great One has taken its toll on you in ways that we may struggle to perceive. The Great One is a being of purest ether, and you are exposed to its unbridled despair, its raw terror. There may be consequences. I am aware of that, but Glitnir must be stopped. Until the blasphemy is laid low, people will continue to die. How am I to carry out my duties cloistered here? How am I to deliver the forest and its people from this despair? It is your duties that demand you remain. I understand your frustration, but if you were to fall in battle, if your guiding light you bear were to fade, then all of Gridania would be lost. Rest, Canny. Rest and gather your strength, so that when the time comes, you are fit to do what must be done. In the meantime, trust in your allies. You are right. That said, I see no reason I cannot join in planning our next step. As he said before, conversation is quite unlike gallivanting about on the hunt. Our encounter with Glitnir has made it plain that we cannot hope to triumph over it as we are. Only with the Great One's power can we achieve victory. When the seventh umbral calamity was nigh, the Great One committed a portion of its boundless strength to extend a barrier over the heaven and earth for Ermin Hedge. Thus was the Trollswood spared the worst. If we could convince it to again lend us even a small measure of power, we would not need fear the poison. Therefore, I believe we should pour our efforts into placating the elements, but we might earn their favour. We must show that we are not the enemy. I mean, I'm not funny, but like, we've beaten Zodiac by this point. What's a fucking behemoth with extra horns? Indeed, we must find a way to assure the Great One of our good intentions, to remind it that we labour not for its destruction but its salvation. I think too that we must gain a greater understanding of what drives Glitnir. It seems to bear resentment towards the elementals, the Great One in particular. Why? I have found this question myself, lingering memories of a person Glitnir once may be responsible. Reports from right at hand suggest that this is likely the case, in fact. If we could but ascertain the original identity of the blasphemy, but where to begin, even begin with our investigation. You were granted a vision of Glitner's past, and I was there, then I may know who he is, or was. As do I, the boy who trained alongside Canny in her youth. Supin. After all these years, is this what became of him? Ah, you mentioned him briefly before. Were you close? Isoda was a Pajali like me, but he had never known his parents, and devoted himself wholly to his studies. He embraced the role the forest had bestowed upon him, and truth be told was a much better student than I ever was. A fair assessment. Despite your esteemed heritage, you never took to my lessons as well as he, ever dreaming of the outside world. Stealing off into the woods more times than I could count, I could not keep watch over you at all hours. Not even if I tried. Interesting to know that Black Robe Boy is older than Canny. The elder seeds are a rebellious spirit. I can scarce imagine it. I resented being a Pajal. It was inconceivable to me that I could not live among the others. And I did not scruple to express my misgivings to Sumiyan at every opportunity. Isura was a pillar of constant support. It was thanks to his encouragement that I at last embraced my destiny and resolved to use my gifts for the greater good. We would become seed seers together, I believe, until one fateful day when we were gathering herbs in the forest at Sumiyan's behest. We met a wanderer hailing from a distant land who told us his beloved was with child and that he had travelled to Gridania to beseech the Great One for a painless birth. He asked us to guide him to the Guardian Tree. However, entry into such sacred places was not ours to permit, and there was something odd about his demeanour besides. With regret I refused him, but Isura was loath to turn away a goodly stranger in need. He agreed to guide the man despite my protestations. I ran to East Sumiyan as fast as I could, and together we made haste to the Guardian Tree. We found the man motionless on the ground, having succumbed to the Great One's rage, and next to him was Isura, alive but unconscious. In time he recovered and related the whole story. In truth, the man had been an adventurer, a seeker of wealth and glory, and as he had knelt to make false supplications, he lunged forward to tear a branch from the Guardian Tree. He was yet a child, and Isura had no inkling of the darkness that could dwell within man's heart. He learned that lesson that day, but the price he paid for it was great indeed. The Great One stripped Isura of his horns, and with them the right to call himself a Bajal. I was forced to expel him from the fane. I never saw him again, nor heard a word of what he had become of him, though not for lack of trying. Despite his hardships, did he remain in the Twelveswood all this time, I wonder? He dreamed of naught else but becoming a seed seer, of a life in service to the people in the forest. He knew the weight of the responsibility and was eager to bear it. But he was deprived of that purpose by the very elementals he loved, and yet he did not lose that will to serve, I suspect, and instead resolved to watch over the Twelveswood in his own way. I shudder to think what could have hastened his transformation into Glypnir, as if his life was not harsh enough. In a final conversation, Isura confided me that he would search for a means to calm the Great One's rage and earn absolution. To that end he said he would seek the counsel of the Mughals. They have called the Twelveswood home for far longer than we have, and so none are more like to have knowledge of its most hidden workings. That comes as no surprise. He would not give up so easily on his dream. Even if the Mughals know naught of Isura, they may be able to help us in other ways. Will you travel to the bramble patch in my stead, Shulk? I have faith they will accept you with their characteristic aplomb. There's a little interesting tidbits from all of this, but I still couldn't care. Huh? Quite a peculiar face you have, Kupo. Familiar too. You wouldn't be the self-same Mori who gave the legendary Mughals guard what for, would you? Shulk, was it? Aha, it's an honour to meet you. Allow me to thank you personally for bringing that silliness to an end. Pukwapitka's the name. What brings you to our neck of the Twelveswood? Why, what a pleasant coincidence. We were just discussing how we ought to go about calming the elementals. That blasphemy with the dreadful horns has got them on edge, and for good reason. I've had to ask my personal guard here to sleep with one eye open. In case you haven't noticed, the beast corruption has been spreading all throughout the woods. Needless to say, we've all got to stand up and put the Twelveswood to rights. Rayo suggested that the Mughals contribute by scouring the forest for even the smallest signs of taint. Got to cleanse it before it gets out of hand, you know. Difficult and time-consuming work, but if it's in the service to the forest, then we'll do it gladly. Hey, I know you. You're the adventurer who gave me some of my finest scars. Koobie Koop of the Moogle's Guard. No hard feelings about the whole Hail to the King bit, I hope. Not going to call for a rematch either, in case you're worried about that. Ray and the others cured us of our tempering, and afterwards sat us down for a stern lecture. No more calling on good King Mogglemog the 12th for us. May he ever remain unsummoned in his royal grace and splendour. Indeed, and what better way to make up for his past indiscretions than to serve the realm? Even now I can scour every ilm of the Twelveswood, and would be remiss not to do our part. You can fucking hear my voice going, Jesus. We would be overjoyed to have a hero such as you helping us as well. If you're willing, something tells me you have a sharp eye for the taint we seek to cleanse. Can we count on you? To tell you something, that side quest stream is going to take a while, because I'm going to let my voice clear up after we're done with all the story. Your reputation for magnanimity is well deserved. Let's begin by moving to higher ground that we may survey the area. Locate any particularly nasty spots of blight. Oh, you were able to make your way up here after all. I was worried you'd be stuck. Apologies for leaving you behind, but it's so easy to forget that your kind likes wings. Now then, where is it? There, to the south. Let us cleanse that festering taint at once. Oh. So much reading, Slandy. That was some fine work. I dare say it's in even better shape than it was before. For others are doubtless flittering about, stamping out corruption whatsoever rears its hideous head. If I were the Great One, I would be applauding our efforts, while insofar as such a being without hands can clap, I suppose. How goes the taint cleansing, Koobie Koop? I did what I could, but I swear as soon as I've finished with one area, two more start manifesting a fresh taint. The forest's ability to heal itself is waning, and its sickness is spreading too fast for even a legion of Moogles to manage, if we don't come up with a better solution soon. The situation is more grave than we imagined. Oh, what do we do? Just send me against Glipnir, Jesus Christ. We should maintain our efforts to purify the forest regardless, but since there are only so many of us, we must also help the forest to remember how to help itself. Brilliant idea, I think. How do we go about doing that? Well, I was just getting to that part. I've got it. We perform befriending. Befriending? What in the name of good King Mogglebog 12 may he shower us with love and compassion, and Kupo nuts is that? Truth be told, I couldn't remember the ancient knight's name, so I just made something up on the spot. But let's forget about that for now and move on to the stuff I do remember. It's an old ceremony, first performed when the nation of Gridania was but a spark of an idea in a random thought of its founder's head. I knew that if they were to establish a home within Twelveswood, they would first have to entreat the elementals for permission, so I made Genetic Company found and cleansed a few sources of foul aether, planted saplings in their place, and consecrated the soil with a prayer to show the forest the purity of their intentions. The elementals were so taken with his display that not only did they permit his people to settle within the forest, they bestowed upon him their blessing as proof of a new covenant. I remember now, the Gridanians still honour the agreement to this day. For every tree that is cut down, a sapling is planted. So if we follow history's example, we can soothe the forest's pain and also nourish it with new life. That's right. Oh, but I wasn't finished with the story. Remember the mage who planted those sacred saplings? He was none other than Jorin, sire of Iokotapota, the very first Pajal. From that day forward, the elementals would bless a few select years with horns, favouring them with their fellowship. The Pajal were exalted by all the people of Tweleswood. Even we Moogles look upon them with awe, and that's how it all began. Something wrong? You have a strange look on your face. Glip? Nah, maybe a Pajal, a former Pajal at least. How dreadful, but what exactly are you saying? So the man you think may have become Glipner was a Pajal stripped of his blessing, and the blasphemy kills with poison that manifests symptoms that resemble those of a creeping death. I feel sorry for this Ysera, to love elementals only to be shunned by them, to be surrounded by the beauty of the Tweleswood and know that he was forever an outsider, all for a child's mistake. That despair could easily have caused him to turn, and this poison that preys upon those who bet the Tweleswood blessing, the Hures, just like the creeping death once did, might be another manifestation of that despair. That would explain the elementals unease. We must redouble our efforts to plant saplings, or they might never speak to us again. Indeed, well, first things first, we must gather as many saplings as we can. Shulk, wait for us at Adder's Nest, and make ready for a long and back-breaking day. Just let me fight the blasphemy. Oh. I hate when they do this. Oh no, you're not powerful enough to face it yet. I'm the fucking warrior of light. I have more power in my character's pinky toe than you have in, like, your entire armies. I am Slandy. I alone am the warrior of light. I'm the law keeper of light. Welcome back, Shulk. Did the Moogles have any insight into our problems? A reenactment of a ceremony which laid the foundation of Gridania, a fitting plan given the gravity of the threat our nation now faces. As ever, there is much work to be done before we can even begin. While the Moogles gather saplings, we shall continue to scour the Tweleswood for other new beasts that must be purged. Let us pray that the elder Seedseer regains her strength quickly as well. But now take a rest, my friend. It is a rare indulgence these days, and one you've earned 1,000 times over. And now we can get on with the main quest. You could be the Reaper of Light, and I am the Law Keeper of Light. I could kill you, Slandy, and then you could be the Zombie of Light. Yeah, never thought about that, did you? Shulk, not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's events on the ground that concern me. As you would have heard, your fellow Scions arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greeting short after we received word from our troops and the Magna Glakis that the Forum's airship had landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees come to no harm. I would have them join you. I'd have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you're ready to depart. Yeah.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same who fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense.
How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
Yeah, boy.
I can handle this pair. You?
Shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
As you wish, my little lord.
Do I get to play as Alpha now or as Simeon? I am Alpha now.
Help is at hand.
Well, at least I'm getting some level of practice in with Sage. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually playing Sage. Obviously, I'm not enjoying this because of how I set my action bars up. These get all like fucked.
Easy now. Deep breaths. You're safe
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself.
I apologise, Slandy, but I get this song stuck in my head. I'm sure it must be annoying trying to play Reaper and then having me humming along to this. Boom! That's making me look forward to Reaper. Why is Odin's music playing?
I don't want to die.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
Yeah, boy.
Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid, for once. We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride!
Go Garlemald.
Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
And she's had enough of this rabble. My only problem with these parts is they make them exceedingly long and give you barely any abilities.
I'm not done yet.
Nothing to worry about.
Uh-oh. I forgot to put new batteries in my mouth. Fuck.
As they say, turnabout's fair play. On guard.
Imagine if getting a bloody battery out
Trace of ether.
a mouse was an
Maybe
impossible
there really
task.
is no way to bring them back. Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you, from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out!
Death music. Bing. Go ahead stealing the Warrior Lights place from the fucking trailer.
I won't lose them. Not a one. This will be a brighter future. I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
Go grab, baby!
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father.
I wonder if she's had enough of this rabble.
You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of her as it is. You mustn't let our sword in the darkness fight alone.
Oh, we're just walking over there, like, no hurry. It's not like people are dying and shit. This is precisely why you should never skip your squat regimen.
I can look after myself.
Everything's in order, I trust?
I've had enough of this rabble. Come on!
I love the trailer bits. They always get me.
Oh, trio for the ages.
Got to put my Storm's Eye on, but here we are. Hey, there's Alpha now, and I'm assuming Estinian is somewhere. Yep, there he is behind. My brain is still telling me to press 8 for spell, please. I feel like this isn't locked. Oh, whoopsie. Still went to click 8 for a second there. I need to get into my brain that 1 to 6 is my single target.
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat-Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Oh, look at Alvino getting on with his daddy.
Yes. Well.
Behind you! Just there!
More of them.
It's my boy. Kisses. It's my boyfriend.
Xenos. Here! You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship. Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is and has ever been my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine, yet neither hate nor despair seems sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust.
Poor rejected Xenos.
So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
That's it. That's all you care about.
That's Xenos.
Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians.
I'm trying to plead to Xenos, of all people.
Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing. You slaughtered your countrymen. You did! For what?
For nothing, in the end. So much wasted.
He doesn't give a shit, man. Oh, this needs to be written.
You bastard!
For your own sake, Euless, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Shut up, Slandy.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends. Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place. There's a match on my blade.
It's such a dickhead. Yeah, not a good idea, buddy.
You are a blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death.
But you'd lose.
But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly.
Poor Xenos.
You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
I really thought he was going to help us. I was so sad. Not that outcome, I mean, that he didn't. I thought he was going to like have one of those Vegeta arcs where the bad guy becomes or like an anti-hero.
The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, it is only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
Why is Justinian so great? Oh. Fantastic. Justinian's just fantastic. What about everyone that spawned in except Alizé? To see Xenos standing there so uncaring and unrepentant, gods, I don't know what came over me. Well, you splurted out the first thing that came to my mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that, it's good to see you again. I forgot I have all this crap that needs selling. What the Oh. Oh. Oh, nice. Slandy, look at that. It's a soul blade axe. Oh yeah, baby. I am now, apparently.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Fortuno Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions.
Good old Alfie.
Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuno. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn? and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us.
I swear.
Any other, I would doubt. You, I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor.
God, it's so cute!
It does. You have my thanks.
So you have to give me, my body is still waking up.
You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait.
Oh.
Did you hear something just now?
Oh dear. Hey, there's a horde of fuckers.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night.
Fucking you,
And to this
Yonzo.
bitter climb bring warmth and comfort.
Put in.
Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Dumbass.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetheris. Urianger made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Happy they say the doom.
Yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Urianger's inferior works no more. Hey, maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom. Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Heidelin's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, We failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Got some dust in my eyes.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydelin's right paw. That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Charlian, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loporrits made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
May thy disciples banish this darkest of nights. Good to have a few back.
For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
Putting ways in the
If that's
background
all
there.
quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
I dare say Master Fortunal was as nonplussed as Beetle on the identity of Hydelin's lunar custodians, as he would soon discover they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss my recent events ere we are summoned to Demostra. Look, Slandy, I'm a Reaper now. Oh. Not yet, but I will be. I will be everything, eventually. Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor IV. In extolling the virtues of Aetheris, I did inadvertently awaken in Loporritz a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Cryo tells us you've obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing effects. I have news to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your finds are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead? Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akatha are one and the same, this all but proves Nidana's theory. Were an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of Aether. But if our star is so replete with Aether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of this great expanse. Meteion, or rather the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred, drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, destruction of Aetheris. When our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity, we have but one aim, to defeat Meteion. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanish Meteion and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vanar, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vanar you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities, and as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we speak. That's something. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetheris, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteion? The Vanar I know would never give up. That's my impression too, otherwise she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she had made her nest. Then communing with Hydaelyn must by necessity come first. Do you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not, though we enlisted the help of Arenvold and other Echo-blessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Anti-Tower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea built closer to home. Labyrinth Foss. Sorry to interrupt, but we've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the roster where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. Did you know, Slandy? Labyrinthos is the second to last place I need to go. So once I've done with that, I am near the end. The end of Endwalker. And the story that I've followed for many, many years. Yeah. I'm that close, I can taste it. I don't know if I'll reach it today, but what do you want me to do about the Endwalker quest? Because when I get to the quest Endwalker, that itself needs to be an episode. So, would you want me to stop stream and then start again so that you can just take that straight? Because that is the most priority thing to get onto YouTube end, so. The forum is in session, and as such, the roster is closed to visitors. As a sign of the 7th dawn, very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door, lest you forget this sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. What I'm thinking of doing is just before I go to Labyrinthos, because I'm assuming that's the next area, I'm going to quickly nip and have my burger for lunch, because I didn't have it today. Yeah, my lunch, I mean. So I'll do that, and then we'll get on with Labyrinth, so we can have a break between this and Labyrinthos. So this will just be a little short filler episode, basically. Although there was a moment from it. My list is still going, in fact I might need a second page now, look. Look. Alright then. So I should probably turn the page just to say that I can begin writing the next. Please be voiced.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the 7th Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Charlian has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenor and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Charlian citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnir, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This arc, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven Hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
"'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Antitower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always.
I love Monty Jane. He's so unfit to be on the forum.
Oh, we couldn't couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but
it's so fucking funny.
I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students
Hey, Mally.
to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?